going to mean business on this mic, so I'm taking it off. So this is a very special night for a lot of reasons. One of the most special reasons is because Orange County is like my home county, and there's very, very important people here tonight. You know who you are. So for the live stream, I apologize for anything that just doesn't make sense tonight. So one thing, another, of course, important reason about tonight is that I had the pleasure of recording an album about a year and a half ago, and it was released in late January. So we're celebrating that tonight. And then we can applaud that. And in fact, the whole band, minus this great piano player that is here with us, the rest of the band is comprised of the people that played on the album. So this is special. All right, well, is this really loud? You guys okay? Okay. Well, one thing, Golden, if you could bring down my voice like an octave, is that okay? Just kidding. So when in doubt, if you're not sure if it's a joke, please laugh. Or you could look at my husband. He will know when all the jokes are happening. Okay, so I did a little research. Being a modern musician, you have to be prepared for so many things in this modern world. Streaming, there's shorter attention spans, there's modern technology. So I did some research last night using ChatGPT. All right, and I want to first of all, I'll share some, I'll try to be short with my dialogue in between tunes too, but how many people are new to a jazz concert? Or like maybe it's less than a dozen you've been to. Yeah, we're in it with you guys. Okay, so there's I know there's some people, I won't point them out, but okay. Jazz, my goal tonight is for you guys to enjoy it. Sometimes jazz is stereotyped as a music that is for musicians. So in my writing, I hope that I can convey a sense of melody and something catchy. So that's how I approach my music, in hopes that people can enjoy it. But another thing I think that happens, and my mom said I could blame this on her, sometimes jazz music seems above the listener's head. And so for people that aren't used to jazz, what happens is we generally play a melody, and a lot of the melodies that you'll hear tonight are mine, like the last tune. It's called Sweet Pickles. Thank you. But then what we do is we all bring our personality to the song. So after it's sort of played, we all have thoughts on the song, and there's certain criteria that happens when it's not just a free-for-all. There's different things like the form of the music that we're all keeping into account. But just so you know, we're going off of the melodies that are written, and of course these guys have worked on their craft for decades, so we're all bringing our personal experience to the table. And it's kind of like if you've seen Whose Line Is It Anyways, like how they're given a couple words, like a goat and science, and you have to make a skit out of that, right? Hopefully my songs aren't that random, but the idea is you create stories and together, right? And you react to each other. So that's jazz in a nutshell. I will bring up some of the what do you call it? The ChatGPT tips in a little bit. We will go on with another tune of mine called Mean Greens. It doesn't mean anything. Just enjoy the groove. right, without saying too much before this next tune, the next tune is on my new vinyl, and it is based off of some chords that a very famous saxophone player came up with, Charlie Parker. But, you know, it's my own spin, so it doesn't sound anything like the tune it's based off of, so don't expect anything. It's called Bird Shapes. Does anyone have an idea what song that's loosely based off of? Well, it is based off. Whoa, who was that? Mariana? Okay, so I have to brag a little bit. That's one of my students. But she's an amazing vocalist and has good ears. Okay, we're probably gonna change the mood and do something fun. You guys, I mean, hopefully this has been fun, but do you want to hear something extraordinarily fun? Okay. All right, so I know I should say some stuff about this killer band, by the way. Once more, let me get everyone's names. So next to me is Lemar Guillary, sorry. And then over here on my right is Sam Hirsh. Ahmet Turkmenoglu on bass. And then on drums, you guys just heard a great solo from him, Chris Wabuch. So I don't like embarrassing people because I hate when people ask, like, what have you been up to or what have you done? And I hate that question just because in our own heads, right? It doesn't feel like, it's like my life's the same, nothing's happened. I still love my cats, as you guys know. So to embarrass them as a group, I'm gonna collectively sort of share what some of these guys have done. And I know this just from knowing them, but I've also kind of looked them up last night just to get confirmation. So on this stage, these members have played with Usher, John Legend, Beyonce, Kenny G, which, I mean, can we get a woo woo? I mean, yeah. Leon Bridges, this great guy, some of you might know, Terrence Martin. And then some jazz people that they've played with, Clayton Hamilton, Stanley Jordan, Katis Buckingham, Otmaro Ruiz, Vince Mendoza. I can't remember if I already said Clayton Hamilton Band. So our drummer, this will not be hidden who this is that I'm talking about now, but he builds his own steel drums. Yeah. So I had the pleasure of playing a gig with him, I don't know, a few years ago. And Chris is good at like all these world music genres, and he surprised me with his steel drum playing. So we're gonna play a Duke Ellington song called Angelica, and it's gonna feature Chris on steel drums. Yeah, Chris Wabuch. Tasteful solos from everyone. Oh, okay, so really quick, the one thing, because maybe I'll have to keep this chat GPT material for the next time. The one thing I did discover, though, that you guys will be very pleased to hear, because I know we all think that we're just going to be living in tubes in the future, in gel, and we won't be in control of much. But the one good thing is I discovered that chat GPT is, so I Googled like how to appreciate jazz or how to go to a concert. There were very silly suggestions, well actually some pretty good ones. Won't share some of them, but none of you are breaking the rules like loud jewelry, so we're okay. But the thing I discovered is that there were like 13 rules for the criteria of being at a concert and all that. And when I Googled or searched being a good citizen, there were fewer. So the future looks good for artists, I guess. It's good? Yeah. All right, let's see. We're gonna change up the order. We're gonna do a ballad in a second, but I feel like it's not quite that time. Let's do one more. Okay, so this song is for, well, I don't know if this, so I have a student who's a TV writer, and he's like one of the coolest people in the world. Really good guy, and we'll talk about the similarities between music and writing sometimes, and sometimes that's like just the fear of putting out an idea. Anyways, we'll have these little discussions. And in teaching him improv, we were talking about, I asked him point blank, is this process right now that we're in anything like writing? And he said, oh yeah, in the writing rooms, there's like, out of 10 jokes that you put out there, there's one that's funny. Right? Okay, so that's just just a side note, excuse my jokes, okay? But here's my joke. Okay, so this next song, we all have a special someone in our life, right? Someone that we can rely on, someone that's kind, consistent. And I'm not talking about your significant other, and I'm not talking about anything else that's bad. I'm talking about my mom. And I literally mean my mom, because a lot of you guys know her. Woo! So this song, it's titled after something, she says, I know Michelle is here, and the nurses that my mom worked with, like, all adore her. But my mom has certain really cute things that she says. And one of them is sometimes in the middle of something where you're a little scared, and you're a little trepidatious, you're not really sure how things are gonna go, but my mom will just say, woohoo! So this next song is called Woohoo, and soon in the future, I'm not sure if this is true, but another thing she says is bumpity bump bump. So there might be a song called Bumpity Bump Bump just down the road, so you know. And that's a similar thing. It's like, riding the waves of life, one of those, some of those not so fun, very common life experiences where you're over a speed bump, and that's when my mom says, bumpity bump bump. All right, here's Woohoo. It's kind of chaotic at times, just a warning. But that's no reflection on her. It's just, having fun. No reflection on her. It's life. All right, so we're gonna play a ballad for you. Let me take a second and talk about the project that I did. There's so much more to what I'm gonna say. If you're curious about it, there's a lot of info online. And actually, in our midst, there's the record label owner and the man behind the whole project in the audience. So not to, Kevin lives far away, so Kevin has to take off afterwards. Kevin can take off. But if you're curious, Kevin's also very friendly. And if you're, music lover and want to talk to him, anyways, hopefully you guys can talk a little bit. Kevin is a very, very incredible person. I had the pleasure of meeting him and his wife through my husband. And you just have to look him up. Words can't describe what his career has been like. He's a really well-known mastering engineer. He, off the top of my head, he has done remastered for Beach Boys. I think he's mastered for Madonna, Billy Joel, and then where we met, the connection, was through his mastering and remastering of Blue Note stuff. So Blue Note, for those of you guys that might not be aware, that's the label and been the label in jazz through the years. So people like Miles Davis and John Coltrane recorded on, and Hank Mobley, Herbie Hancock, so many people recorded classic albums. And growing up a jazz lover, those were the people I emulated. Those were the people I wanted to sound like. Anyways, Kevin, for over 20 years, had been building, as a side thing, all this amazing equipment to record a group and hopefully start this whole endeavor with a record label, and all this specialized, beautiful equipment where it's bringing back the old way of recording a band, which was in one room, a tiny room, in this case, and having musicians play in a very organic, natural way where, in this modern world, all of us generally, when we do a recording for other people, do you guys know what punching means? It's where you have the opportunity, if you want to grab parts again, you can. Have headphones on, you're all in different rooms generally. So in some ways, there's a comfort in that because we're all familiar with that, but it also doesn't have as classic as a sound, and it doesn't feel sometimes as organic. And these old jazz recordings often sounded very organic and like you were at a live performance. So Kevin, having just incredible ears for capturing music and knowing what music could sound like with real pure sounds, built the studio as well during COVID. And initially we came in and I think I did 3 different tests with him for getting a good, a authentic saxophone sound dialed in. And then in December of a couple of years ago, we threw together this session, and we got to, so like I said, everybody in the band, we got to do this session, and it just was like magic. It was so cool. And as a musician, it was an interesting experience because, again, we usually have the safety net of being able to do things again and maybe even tidy up something if a couple days later, you're oh, you cracked that note, have to grab it again. But the cool thing about the vinyl is it gives you this very personal experience. And in my eyes, music should be that. That's what I fell in love with music, is this personhood, right? The authenticity. So the vinyl does that job, and it's through the last months, it's done amazing. People have loved it, and anyways, I would love to thank Kevin Gray, who's out here. Yeah, and also his wife, Charlene, and I forget Mike's last name. Esquizil? Okay, Yeah, and so anyways, his review for us, like, sort of threw things into like spinning, you know, and we've had to press this CD or this vinyl like several times because it's just done so well. And now it's finally available on streaming. The vinyl is like what you want, you know, and there's, just as a side note, you know, I mean, you guys being here, you don't even know, like, hopefully you do, but this is me expressing it, how much it means as artists to have an attentive audience and people pay money to hear us, because this music wouldn't be anything without you guys. So thank you for supporting us. And, you know, I hope you, if you're interested in buying vinyl, we have some around the corner. But just walk away with the idea that, like, art, right, has a person behind it. So if there's something you love and you've been listening to it streaming wise, even if it's not me, it's okay. Like, just go out and maybe like buy something for $10, because that, you know, keeps it going. And I know you guys have probably been told that, but just a reminder that there's like people behind, you know, when we're consumers, and you being here reflects that. So thank you very much. Oh. Thank you. Yeah, these guys are a pleasure to play with. Okay, so the next tune we're going to play is a ballad, beautiful ballad. It's on a classic jazz recording with this guy, Johnny Hartman. If you guys, yeah, we got some Johnny Hartman fans. Okay, so it's called Dedicated to You. Great. Okay, we're gonna end on. We'll see if we could stretch this out. If we can't, we'll play like a really quick little head on the way out. So this is another tune from my album. This is called Party Slug. And I will say that I won't give away the total motivation behind this, but as an introvert, so there is like a very important pet that this is devoted to, who we lost a couple months ago. But the idea, so Party Slug, is that, here's my takeaway now. As an introvert, you need someone at a party that you could depend on when you're intimidated by, I mean, you guys are different, right? But when you're intimidated by being around a bunch of people, it's that person who everyone wants to be around and just can like sit in the middle of the room, and like as an introvert, you're like, I need that friend because then I don't really need to do very much. So this is Party Slug. I also want to say a couple other things real quick. Part of the reason, like I told you guys with the project that I did, I think that Kevin partly sought me out because I can have that classic tenor sound, right? I will say that through the years, my influences have changed. So, and it's interesting always like looking back and seeing that path. And I'm gonna embarrass my brother. He didn't expect this. I didn't even get to say hi to him on the way in. But my first hero, was my mom who played piano, and then also my brother, because my brother played trumpet before I played an instrument. I played a little piano, but so anyways, Dave is one of my first heroes. And then there's a couple other people. I mean, I haven't seen everybody in the audience, but I know there's a couple other people that have had just a huge impact on my life. One of the next people is Jason Freeze, who I heard play when I think I hadn't chose what instrument I wanted to play at, but I went to like the concerts as a young kid in this area, and since my brother played, and I remember hearing this saxophone player, and it just looks so cool because he made it look cool and sound cool. And then I had the honor of taking lessons from him, and I have such happy memories of those times. Like in some ways, it's my fondest memories of playing because it was just like, I was just inspired by him, and there wasn't like pressure to like sometimes as music goes along, you put pressure on yourself. Jason did not put that on me. He was just kind of like showing me all this cool stuff. And even in some of I think one book I still have, I would sometimes draw pictures like for our lessons, like in the Charlie Parker book. And so I had so much fun and felt so free that I like drew pictures for my lessons. So anyways, thank you to Jason and for being one of my heroes. And then another, there's several people. I know I'm gonna miss some people, but Nicole and Tom Kubis, you guys are just people that I'm so happy I get to know in music. And as a quick note too, like I'm thrilled that a lot of you guys I know from playing music, it just makes me so happy. And I'm sad I don't get to see you more. But no, anyways, Tom, not only did I play a lot of his music growing up in high school, but when I met him after college, he was someone that was so refreshing for me to be around because he just enjoyed what he did and what he heard, and I didn't need to show off. He just thought that everything I played was good, which was a new experience for me. So anyways, you guys are awesome. All right, I think I talked enough. So Party Slug. So this is a very fun song. Hope you enjoy it. And thank you guys so much for being here. Like I said, if you're interested in getting an album, and albums are it's so cool. They're coming back because when you have them, it feels like, what would be a good analogy? Okay, I always have weird analogies. I'm sure if you're a vintage car lover, right, Dave, Jason's family, probably nothing's like the real like old vinyl seats where you're like, yeah, my butt sticks to the seats. Okay, sorry, that was left out. You guys got to get to know me, and then I have all these weird analogies. But like there's something cool about having this physical thing that reminds you of something else. And so if you're not into vinyl, it could become an addiction. Oh, and lastly, my husband. My husband's amazing. So, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let me just announce this band real quick, too. All right, let's see. Let's go in different order. So, wonderful drummer, Chris Wabuch. Yeah. Right, Sam Hirsh, piano. Ahmet Turkmenoglu. And then Lemar Guillary. Thank you. Hopefully I didn't offend anyone with anything I said tonight.
KIRSTEN Edkins. Let's hear it for KIRSTEN Edkins. Lemar Guillary. Chris Wabuch. Ahmet Turkmenoglu. Sam Hirsh. KIRSTEN Edkins. They've got LPs over there for sale, right?
Yeah.
Make sure you pick one up, and if not, go ahead.
Over here? Around the corner?
I think
over there.
there's
okay,
a merch
cool.
table
Perfect.
over there.
And you lucked out. My mom has made some cookies, so.
Cookies. $10 each. One more time for KIRSTEN Edkins.